Content 1 participasi.
He loves silence. Does that saying apply to you or not?
It's not just about money, it's about reputation and trust.
Hi, Andrey. Hi, everyone.
He was hammering with that drill like crazy.
Back then I had a beef with Navalny.
So yeah, that's fake, just bullshit.
In that moment, I realized I'm screwed. And now we're gonna send the drone up and see what's actually happening on the side.
What stage the construction is at? Remember those clowns who kept clucking around? Everyone was telling me, don't do it, you'll never manage to build villas like that.
Well, let's take a look at how that turned out. Money loves silence. Does that apply to you?
No, not really. You know, I live loud and lavishly. I'm the only guy on Bali with Lamborghini, you know? It's not that like I'm showing off. Of course I show off a bit of luxury. It's probably some kind of insecurity. No one believed that I would pull it off. But because I create unique architecture, I managed to build perfect villas for rental on Bali.
Bali? This investigation took over 2 months. I went through absolutely everything that was going on. Maybe he would start returning the money. Who knows? Sometimes builders just have delays. But no. So today you will see the whole scheme and everything that's been happening during this past 2 or actually more than 2 months while I was collecting and filming all the material. So let's begin. Mr. Terima Kasih, aka Sergey Domogatskiy. The man behind this entire unfinished construction project.
I swear to you, hand on heart, I don't know a single person on this planet who understands real estate and real estate investments better than I do.
Like this, camera guy? Or is it a bit high? Okay, that's good. Sergey Domogatskiy, Mr. Terima Kasih. I used to follow him on media, and honestly I liked what he was doing. So what was he doing exactly? He was building half-timbered houses. And he called it his own houses, even though that's actually German construction method. But nevertheless, he used to build those in Russia.
If you want a house like that, contact me. This way you are guaranteed not to lose your money.
And yeah, he had helpers, and he still does. For example, this girl here, she handled the cash. And there's the infamous Agata, known among all the victims and buyers. She was the one calming everyone down in WhatsApp chats, saying things like, don't worry, everything's about to launch, everything will be fine. It will all start working soon, everything's okay. I've been working with him for 9 years, and in all that time, there hasn't been a single client he scammed. Whoever he owed to, he always paid back. Then, back when he was still building houses in Russia, the haters appeared. Haters among other builders. Well, that's what he called them, but really there were people given fair criticism. So I came there, took a look at it, and it turns out to be just garbage. That guy caused him a lot of trouble because he made really solid reviews and breakdowns of Domogatskiy projects. Then he flies to Bali and becomes Mr. Terima Kasih. Oh, this lady is not seen anymore. Then he calls up an old acquaintance, the young and lovely Larisa Guzeeva. Well, people make money off that. She supposedly bought a villa too from him. At the same time, he gets himself a Lamborghini. I decided to send my Lamborghini for servicing. He also builds himself a personal villa and starts developing more really beautiful houses with glass roofs. That's when my buddy from Kaluga reaches out to me saying, come on, invest, buy. I didn't believe it at first, but more on that later. Never in my life would I have thought he wouldn't finish the villas, not even one of them. That really shocked me. That's why I'm making this video. Then in Bali, he gets married. He gets married to some Indonesian woman named Zoe, who is also in real estate, judging by her Instagram page. So yeah, he finds himself a beautiful life partner. Then he hires a foreman and a designer.
So I was in charge of finishing works.
We did the design and project planning. And then it all started dragging out, and that's when first victims started to appear. One of the most notable victims is this woman, Nadezhda. She's pregnant right now, by the way. You had probably the most ridiculous story of all. And he really messed with her head over just $10,000. Then there's another victim, Victoria. The trust level totally hit rock bottom at that point. Those are the victims who actually speak up and don't hide. Because, as we all know, most victims usually stay silent. Then there's this guy who also got scammed back in Russia.
Yeah, they said that the piles were too big.
And just so you don't think that I'm being biased, there's another chat with victims though it's smaller. And that's my friend Yuri, the one who still thinks everything will launch soon, everything will work out. Bro, once you ask for your money back, that's it, game over. He's got his doubts, of course, but we're gonna look at both sides. Not just those calling out Terima Kasih, but also the ones who still believe, hope and wait. Meanwhile, Terima Kasih collects money and flies off to Africa, Cape Town. We'll figure out today exactly where he went and whether he's planning to come back. We'll find it out in today's video. For more than 2 months, I've been digging through this whole story to visually show you the full picture, so you can connect the dots yourself and decide, is this a scam or is it legit? But I've got every reason to believe it's a scam. Some people are probably already rushing to file police reports on me. I'm not claiming anything, of course, I just have grounds to suspect. Still, a local cop might knock on my door any day now, so let's go through this quick while I can. You know what's funny? Went to take a piss, and my mic is on. Oh shit, buddy, you've exposed yourself. Well, at least it's just a piss. You didn't shit yourself. So he can rent it out and make money of it? Okay, Andrew, let's start from the beginning. You're saying you can invest in real estate on Bali and make money. Is that true?
Oh my god, it's so exciting. Never done anything like this before.
Okay, so today I opened his Instagram, TerimaKasih's page. Man, I'm in shock, bro, you know? I'm gonna show you. Look, I see this video.
Here are the first villas, almost done. The terrace, the finishing, everything.
Well, he's actually building something. Look, workers are making noise, construction is going on, and I'm like, holy shit, maybe he's actually building. And I'm thinking, damn, maybe I'm about to make a fool of myself with this investigation. So he's actually building, what's the problem? But frankly, something here smells off. So I keep watching and I realize, wait, I've seen this before. I will pause it right there. See that? A ladder, some papers on the floor, bottles, and next to the bottle, there is some white dust or something. You see that?
Bro, you've got eagle eyes.
Yeah, I do. So I'm thinking, hang on, I've seen this before. I go back to his feed, scroll down, and I find a video from the end of May. Pause. Look, the same bottle, same trash on the floor, same letter. It's the end of May. And yesterday, July 2nd, he posted the exact same video. Look, he's even wearing the same shirt. So what's he doing here? He's clearly trying to buy time, delaying people from going to police. Yeah, I see. Look, I'm working, everything's in progress, when it's just an old footage from 2 months ago. This is a masterclass in how to use a letter and some glue to calm down investors so they don't file complaints. So the conclusion here is that he's not just building, he's building an illusion of work. When there's no news from the construction site, he just reposts old videos as if they are new updates.
Hey, I never said it was a new video, guys. It's just that investigator guy making stuff up. I just post videos whenever I want. That's all. I just posted the video because...
Because what? This video is a couple of months old, bro.
It's in your Instagram.
That's what a lot of scammers do. Try to stall the clients and keep them quiet. That's obvious. But to really find out how much the construction site changed since May 3rd and why he's repeating the same video now, I've got a special correspondent in Bali who checked it all out. Look, we've got a video message from him. Special correspondent here reporting from the scene, Daniel Demidov. Hello to all subscribers of the Iron Bat channel, to Andrey and to everyone who's been scammed by Terima Kasih. I'm standing right now at his construction site on Nusa Penida, the very project people are already making legends. According to Sergey himself, drilling is supposed to be happening here right now. But of course, nothing is going on. It's Wednesday, middle of a normal workday, and there is absolutely no activity here. Totally dead. We even flew a drone, you'll see the footage, and from above, the same thing. Silence, emptiness, nothing is moving. For example, the Santorini complex, it is supposed to have 80 villas, 80 units, and in reality, a couple of concrete boxes. That's it. Santorini. From afar, it's like Greece. Up close, it's ruins. Only one villa is completed, and even that is not a real house, just a facade for show. Honestly, you'd be better off buying an old house in Russia. At least this one exists. But there must be clients who supposedly moved into Santorini villas, right? Well, if you look at his Instagram, looks like there are. I visited the Santorini villa, and at the presentation, the best one I've ever seen in Bali, you know, I was amazed by the quality of construction, the perfect finishes, the smart drain systems, the beautiful bathrooms, you know, the amazing bedding, the mattresses, and the last but not least, the stunning view. I'm so grateful for this experience. So I finally decided to buy the villa. Look, I decided to buy this villa, look. But we actually checked that wallet that he showed. And what did we find? What does that wallet that he showed very quickly say? You know, in 2025 we can pause the video and check out the wallet. Well, first of all, it's a fake screenshot, okay? Because in the top right corner you see the battery icon and the 4G signal overlapping, kinda. Something is wrong with this screenshot, right? So this guy in the bathrobe says that he sent money to Terima Kasih in May 2025. May the 2nd, to be exact. Sorry, I had to look it up. But if you check that wallet, it starts with the letters TV and ends with WPA, but there were no transactions that day. There is none for May the 2nd, 2025. Zero, nothing. Anyone can check. I'll put the wallet ID on the screen. It's public, you know? You can see all the transfers. Well, if you know how to do it, you know. It's 100% transparent. So yeah, again, no transactions for the May 2nd. You see? So it's just fake. There were some transfers though, the April 30th and May 7th. Over the whole time that this wallet has existed, since 2021, when he started collecting money for all the Bali constructions, about $3.5 million were transferred to it. The very first transaction was on February 24th, 2021 at 9:43 a.m. 100 USDT. It's a Binance wallet and we can trace all the transactions, the full web of addresses it's connected to, lots of exchanges, lots of wallets. But what our team discovered, well, I cannot reveal yet. We're saving that, for the investigation. But here's the interesting part. That same villa, the showroom which was supposedly bought by that guy in the bathrobe, another client also claims he bought it. Okay, let me show you the villa that I purchased. Here comes another dude who lives in Minsk. He's from Belarus. He walks in, filming, says the furniture is already in place. The same villa as the guy in the bathrobe. Maybe they're just buying it from each other, reselling. But we already saw the truth from the drone. And here's the kicker. Both of those guys, the guy in the bathrobe and the Belarusian dude, look, they are in the same photo together, standing side by side. How is that possible if they bought the same villa separately? I think they're just his bodies, pretending to be clients, acting as fake buyers, to make his project look alive. But as you've already seen, there were no actual transactions. We checked out the rest of his wallets too to get a ballpark of how much money he's pulled in. On Bali, cash is hard to move around, so probably it's 70% of crypto and maybe 20-30% of cash. Anyway, the total amount is quite massive and impressive. Some of my friends are asking, are there still a few villas available? Oh sure, this guy will happily find one villa for you, but once you try to get your money back, that's when he starts threatening you with criminal charges if you call him or Sergey a scammer. And of course, you'll have to pay compensation. That's how he protects Terima Kasih. Even though logically, if he really bought a villa himself, he should be the one worried. Now I will tell you how someone tried to drag me into this scheme to get me to buy a villa too. So my buddy Yuri from Kaluga, we had a fight, later, but now we're cool again, all good. We are on good terms, July 20th, 2024. He sends me a link saying project completion date July 2025. So by now that project should already be done. I should have moved into that villa, He sent me that link in July 2024 along with a video from Terima Kasih himself.
Hello, Sergey Domogatskiy here. You're seeing this message because you are in our closed investment club because you already bought something from me. And this mailing is only for people who purchased from me. Thank you very much for your trust. Let's call it Mini Santorini. Oh, sounds cool, Mini Santorini. You purchase the land and get a great ocean view. These are closed sales. It's only $87,000. It's like 7,650,000 rubles. It's even cheaper than some one-room apartments somewhere in Moscow Oblast, So my buddy sent me that video and he texted, "Bro, I've got 2 villas on reserve. And I'm moving to the first one, and the second one, one of my buddies wanted it, but now he's acting like an idiot. I thought maybe you would be interested. I'm in touch with him personally, with Domogatskiy, and maybe he'll even give you a discount." And then I ignored him, because he had already sent me some links to Bali projects earlier in 2024. And we had talked before. I told him I was not interested. By then, I'd been working with Frol in Dubai on real estate for 3 years. We researched all the best markets to go into, and Dubai suited us best for many reasons. And Asia, wasn't for us. So I ignored his message. This was the second time he nudged me. So time passes, and on December 17th, 2024, he messages, "Closed sales of a new project, only 40 villas. Private beach." That's the exact place where there's nothing going on actually. Oceanfront, perfect location, one of the most beautiful areas on Bali. Balian. So he kept bombarding me with all this stuff. That black sand, everything. Well, it did look quite pretty. Here is Santorini and other Terima Kasih's projects. So this is December 17th, 2024. I'm like, "Bro, you already sent this. I'm not interested." He's going, "It's a different project." Bro, okay, bro. Here's my voice message to him. "Bro, look, I'm a grown man. I know you're getting a referral cut. I know Bali won't give 25% a year. That's a con for suckers. Those who sell it will make money. Those who buy are the suckers. Because all our acquaintances who bought Bali property are stuck and cannot resell it. This guy in particular, I get it. He's hustling. But if it truly returned 25%, nobody would sell it. Even those investors who put money in it wouldn't bother. That's for fools. Me and my buddy Frol now deal in Dubai with these bullshitters promising 25-30% a year. And people go to them because they love free money. But if you tell them the real return, like 7-8% at best, they refuse. But then after buying into this 25% promise, they come to Frol and say, "Bro, what should I do? I got scammed." You see, I know all this shit. I wouldn't even say anything if I didn't know what you're doing exactly and what returns are real. But it kind of pisses me off that you keep sending me this. When we've studied all the places, all locations, Georgia, Spain, everything, nothing gives 25% returns. There is no such thing. And he says, "Are you joking? Referral cut? I wouldn't shove that at you with referrals. It offends me that you think that." Then why do you send it to me 10 times in 6 months? I said no once. I said no twice, 3 times. And he kept sending me this. He goes, "Look, I've sent you the offer. Thought maybe you'd be interested. If you don't trust it, don't trust, bro." I trusted. Well, what a smart move, buddy. What can I say? This is our land. New project in Tabanan. Look at this beauty and this luxury. That's exactly where my buddy tried to pull me in. It's divine, the best land I've ever bought in my life, and this will be the best project ever. Here is the oceanfront line. It's Daniel again, the special correspondent in Bali. I'm standing on one of Terima Kasih's 5 projects here in Balian, and as you can see, there is absolutely no sign of construction whatsoever, even though he claims on his social media that construction is in full swing. And this is what things really look like here. It's like nothing at all, just some cows there. And I must say, it really is first line ocean. The location is nice. Yeah.
but nothing is happening, despite investors being told otherwise. We even flew a drone to film the beach Sergey used in his Instagram presentation. And here we are, witnessing nothing. The project itself was first announced in 2023, and we have confirmation from an investor who entered into this project, but sadly still hasn't exited. And Terima Kasih initially promised an underwater hotel. You can see a rendering on screen. But he changed concepts a couple of times, blaming lack of sales. But as we can see, there is really nothing to buy yet. Besides the promise of passive income, you get some incredible inner peace. Meanwhile, here in Kaluga, there is this old green garage, and in Tabanan, for tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars, there is nothing. Every time I told you I wasn't interested in this direction, you keep sending me new properties. Where did you get them? I'm asking my buddy here. I laughed the most at the file called Closed Sales of a New Project. That's just a pure sucker bait. And he's going, look, I've already bought 2 villas for myself and the third one is on its way. And I'm going, frankly, I don't quite believe it. Well, whatever. He forwarded the voice message from Terima Kasih. Yuri, greetings, Sergey here. I'm sending you a presentation of a closed project. Only for those who bought from me, you know, because I value and respect those people who trusted me. Thank you. So you have a chance to participate in the pre-sale. Firstly, the price is lower, obviously, and you can be one of the first to pick villa location. And after that, we didn't text each other much. Or did we? No, I texted. I'm going, Yuri, hi there. It was last Friday. So I'm going, Sergey Domogatskiy, as I suspected, turned out to be a fraudster? Question mark. I'm asking him. And he goes, we'll see. The victims are messaging me, some TV channels. Everyone's pissed that the construction has been stalled for nearly a year. He claims that it's delayed, yeah. But the fact that it is completely stopped, bullshit. Says it only stopped 2 weeks ago, he has live cameras. Okay, let's meet with Yuri, my buddy, and talk about his case. Because I want Terima Kasih to return my buddy's money too, especially the one who tried to pull me into this scheme. Because, you know, I'd have to go take back my own cash too. I'm on my way to Yuri, my buddy who was trying to lure me into this real estate scheme. We'll meet, I'll film it, he doesn't even know that I'm making an episode. Yuri, bro, how did you get scammed? And you wanted to drag me in? Damn. I'll tell you later about that. Bro, this shit is crazy, you know? So how much did you deposit? Was it a prepayment, right? How much? Like $2,000 for a villa? 2 grand? Are you fucking kidding me? Well, how much then? Come on, don't be shy, tell me. X10. No, wait, really? Like 20 grand? Of course not. X100. No, come on, jokes aside, how much? 200k for one and 120k for the second one. No way. Damn, it's good we're making a video about that. So you think he'll return the money, right? Look, I don't know. Today we had a Zoom call together and he calls drunk every other day and I ask questions and he answers. But you're not pressing him yet, right? How much did you put in over the last 2 years? 320k, 320 grand. Yeah, for 2 units. Holy shit. Jesus, is that the Santorini project, right? No, one is Santorini and another one is Reflection. Santorini project with panoramic ocean view. To confirm that Yuri's Santorini's villa is okay, his man was there on May 9th and sent photos of that same showroom with the tree and red leaves. The same showroom supposedly, bought by the bathrobe guy and bald Vadim from Belarus. Okay, Santorini is clear. Now let's look at the Reflection villas. He's got several projects. There's Reflection Heavens, those rooftop pool villas, and Santorini villas are partially over here, and that's it. Supposedly there should be a third phase Sergey raves about on social media, but as you can see, nothing's happening there either, and likely will not happen. You know, I don't want to be a pessimist in this situation, but we have to face the truth. Nothing is being constructed here. No equipment, no drilling noise, Nothing that Sergey mentioned or showed in his recent live stream. But to be fair, the location is gorgeous. Special correspondent Daniel Demidov was on site. Andrew, over to you. You know what bothers me? There are people who are very aggressive about this. And they put me into some chat where it's all like, they all go like, Domogatskiy is a scam, lock him up. But there is no constructive discussion. You know, from my point of view, I cannot really say that he's a fraudster outright. Guys, sorry, could I get a glass of water, please?
Anthony, thank you very much.
I'm just not used to talking on camera. So, this is Victoria. You lost $200,000. Or, well, not lost yet. Because, like I said, if Terima Kasih actually returns the money, I'll definitely say that publicly. No problems with that. Because, you know, there's still something human left in him, it seems. I mean, I compare him to the usual scammers I've exposed before. Those guys were just complete degenerates. But this guy, maybe he'll find an investor, maybe he'll sell something, for real. Honestly, part of me wants to believe that after this video comes out, he might actually pay you back. Well, I don't think so anymore. Well, if not, then this story continues. Yeah, but I've already lost all faith. When I met him, he invited me to this super expensive restaurant. I'll tell that part again later. So, I come in, and he's sitting there with this bold guy, Alexander, his partner. There is some fancy wine on the table, and he offered me some wine, like, Victoria, would you join us? And I said, no, thank you, I'm not here for drinking, I came here to talk business. I knew I had to somehow pull my money out. I wanted to ask him about his plans, because I already knew there was no construction going. I had already spoken to his employees. So wait, he invited you to that restaurant after you already paid him? This was just like 2 months ago.
Hello, Victoria. I got really sick, sorry. I'm in my bed and barely using my phone.
So I called Catherine and told her straight up, I'm going to the police unless you schedule a meeting right now. I'd already tried to get a Zoom call together, gathered 8 other victims into a group chat. I said, either you explain what's going on or we're all filing complaints. And he found it out. He did, but I texted to Catherine directly. And she said, wait, let me arrange a meeting with him.
Okay.
And then he himself texted me like, Catherine told me that you wanted to meet. Let's do it. I'll be available in a couple of days, blah, blah, blah. I can show you screenshots.
Victoria, hello, I'm still sick. Katerina told me that you wanted to meet somewhere in Bali. Let's meet tomorrow or the day after. Yeah, we'll show the screenshots on screen.
Yeah, so he sets the meeting. I come to this fancy restaurant and you know, I've never seen anyone acting so calm while their business is falling apart. He's just sitting there, sipping expensive wine, like everything's fine. And so I'm asking him, like, Sergey, yeah, but why should he make you worried? He didn't want to look uptight. Of course he was chill, drinking wine, everything's fine, don't you worry, etc. So I'm asking him, Sergey, what are your plans? What happens next? And he goes, I've got nothing left, no money at all. Okay, so what's next? Are you taking, I don't know, new investors or a new loan or what? What's gonna happen? Tell me exactly, how are you gonna finish the project? And he just waves it off, takes another sip of wine, like no loans, no anything, I'll just sell my assets.
Yeah, that's what he tells everyone.
Yeah, that's when I realized it was over, completely, no turning back. Trust just hit rock bottom.
So is the camera rolling? I was in charge of interior finishing, you know, all the engineering work, plumbing, electrics, all of that. Kintamani, Nusa Penida, all those projects. I was leading the engineering and finishing teams.
So we were in charge of design and architectural planning too. So we had our employees, we had a team, different engineers, architects, visualizers, and I was managing that department. And even though the company looked big from the outside, with all those different projects and land plots, the actual management team was tiny. We all knew each other, we all talked to each other, with the finance director, everyone. So we were constantly in touch with each other. And I knew very well that projects on Kintamani, those people kept signing contract extensions over and over again, pushing deadlines further every time. And the final one, the absolute critical one, was January 2024. That was the final delivery deadline. And by that moment, investors were already furious.
Yeah, and there was just one half-built villa left.
Yeah, there was only one unit. So it was like, Yeah, one of the villas was pretty close to completion, and few others were halfway there, you know? And you saw that all yourself. Yeah, I was there in September 2023. There were literally just two project managers. He thought he could just fill the gaps with cheap Indonesian labor and his genius management, you know, paying them like 10 million rupiah. That's like $600. Like, sure, let's have a handful of locals build premium class villas for pennies. But when he faced the real problems, logistics, soil work, broken machinery, workers who didn't even know how to use the tools, like I saw it with my own eyes, a guy holding a turned off drill and just hammering the ground with it. It wasn't even plugged in. They had no idea how to use the tools and machinery. So I think at first Sergey really did want to finish the projects. I think he originally had a plan or something. But then he just faced the harsh reality of building in Bali. Instead of asking advice from people who had already succeeded there, like there are some really cool guys like Felix Diomin. He's the guy who built the airplane villa on a cliff. You saw that? That's a Felix project.
Yeah, there are some smart builders like Salonin.
He could have simply asked for their advice, you know, but he just tried to figure it out on his own. And you know, they would be happy to do that. They would be happy to help. He could have done that. But the problem with Sergey was that he never listened to anyone. Not even to us, the specialists. He would say, yeah, good point, and then just ignore it.
And I even told him, like, according to the contract, so the contract says, if construction is delayed, you are supposed to provide accommodation for clients at this same property. And he replied, no, we're not working with Andrey anymore, so I cannot. And I go, wait, it's in the contract. Either you fulfill it or we will go to court. Well, initially he said that they could build there, but then the law changed mid-project, so construction stopped. Can you somehow comment on that? Wait, but how could that even... Look, they sent me the land certificate. The same one tied to the receipts for my payments to his company. And they couldn't send it for 3 years, by the way. And when they finally did, it read that the land was registered under some Indonesian woman's name.
Yeah, I remember there was some woman named there.
Yeah. It was technically local-owned land. You can check that publicly, it's all there.
So he must have known beforehand that this land was...
It was a plantation land. You cannot just take it and convert it from the yellow zone to a plantation.
Look, I have checked the documents, kinda. The land was partially approved for development, but there was some certain percentage ratio. Well, all that stuff, you know.
So the ratio was different in the beginning and he began constructing. Then the law changed and the percentage ratio got smaller. And supposedly he met with the local mayor or governor. Remember those videos? Oh yeah, and that's what made him look, you know, legit. All those videos and photos with officials and all that.
Yeah, but we don't know what that man actually said to him. Maybe the guy told him no construction allowed.
Yeah, maybe he was just faking it online, like, look, I'm solving the problems. We don't know what was happening backstage, you know?
Right, and then why not record it on video? Like, guys, sorry, the law changed, we cannot build anymore. But that mayor, the governor guy, didn't say anything. So it looks fake.
Okay, so tell me then, when and how did you transfer those 200 grand? Okay, so, you know, I had this dream of having a property in Asia for 15 years. I finally decided. I listed my Moscow apartment for sale. So yeah, and then I was reassigned to Agata, his assistant who sends out all the marketing stuff and whatever. And within a month, I sold the apartment. I had the cash in rubles. I added my savings and went straight from the bank to his office with the money. So they gave me the address, like you can pay there. I'm going there. It's a business center cube. I get there. I am met by Marina Arisova. She made me a visitor pass to that business center, took me upstairs to the office, and she took the cash.
So was she like some random exchanger or an actual accountant?
She was an official accountant. I even filmed her. I've got proof that she took the money. She had a badge that said
She had the badge that said Eko-Komplekt. That was a real construction company in Moscow.
Yeah, the company that was constructing half-timbered houses.
Yeah, correct. So she took the money, I recorded it, and honestly, I didn't have a single doubt back then. I was so sure. Probably because of Sergey's media presence, you know, the way he talks, so confident, so professional.
When they were dragging me into it, I also thought that he would finish everything. I just didn't believe that 25% return crap.
But I never imagined he wouldn't finish anything at all. So we knew the deadlines were impossible.
Yeah, and he was already raising money for Santorini project. Yeah, that was crazy. I had this, complex assigned to me. There were like 5 villas with guest houses and a pool. And he was like, Andrey, I need these done by my birthday. Let's set that as the deadline, my birthday. Finish that villa and go home, take a rest. But it was such a mess. Like no doors, no workers, no supplies. Everything was coming from China and there's Chinese New Year. Whatever it was,
Yeah, and I was handling the purchase orders, so I knew there was no money. Nothing was being purchased.
And he's going, Andrey, just finish the first villa. We need it urgently. But we had 2 complexes, 180 and 84, one above and one below. So those were really big complexes, So there were like 20-25 people working on one villa, 100 people on the other. And he was like, okay, we're launching a new project, Santorini. And I was like, Sergey, let's finish at least the first project, please. Let's launch it, make sure everything works. And then we'll move the people to the next one. But in reality, one excavator was moving between them.
Yeah, but workers were constantly bouncing between construction sites because he always kept creating those fake emergencies, just to make it look like things were moving and he was solving the problems. Because apparently no one believed him at that point. So yeah, it was just classic fake hustle.
Andrey, and when he came to you and said, drop what you're doing, let's start the next project, even though the first one wasn't completed, were you thinking that something was off? Exactly, I told him, I'm not giving you my workers, or the tools, or the machinery. It's all staying here until we finish the first construction site. Because moving workers and machinery constantly is just not right. You should finish that first project, wherever it is, Kentamani or any other project. Launch it, bring in tenants, make it profitable for investors, and then move to the next one. And this way you'll be able to make a profit, and then you can prove to others, like, look, I've built not only one villa, but the entire complex, It's all working. So basically, that was the first alarm bell for you, right? You saw that he was turning this into a pyramid scheme, starting new projects, collecting new money without finishing the old ones. Exactly. So when he started raising funds for Santorini project, while the previous sites weren't even halfway done, no people, no equipment, nothing.
Yeah, even the construction drafts were not finished. At one point, I started my own investigation in Bali, and he was out there on social media showing off like he owned helicopters. He had those posts about helicopters. Yeah, internet remembers that.
Here it is, straight from the factory. Brand new Robinson R66. We picked a white body so we can stick different designs on it later.
Разного дизайна и менять их.
So I contacted the management at Bali Copter to make an inquiry, Like, we got mutual friends, blah, blah, blah. And they just laugh and go, no, that person doesn't own anything. He wasn't our investor. He bought a subscription, that's all. He was just a client. He flew around a few times, that's it.
Yeah, I'll have my own personal pilot. And by the way, me and Yulia will learn to fly helicopters ourselves soon.
That's when I really started calling all his former employees, 4 different ex-construction managers to be exact. And right when all this chaos started, I got a message from someone still working in his office. Eko-Komplekt is selling off their equipment. Huh. When you start seeing all that from the inside, hearing it from his own people, it all becomes obvious.
Yeah, like he's folding up.
So you think he was planning to scam everyone from the start? Sure. Because you know what, I get it, even big developers sometimes hit a cash flow gap. That happens. They take money from a new project to patch up an old one. It's risky, but some of them manage to pull it off. But the thing is, you've got to finish at least one project. Just one, yes! Then people would see that, okay, the houses are real, people are moving in. You would regain a bit of trust. Maybe a few investors would still want out, but others would stay. And there will be money left for payouts, but he didn't return anything to anyone. And he just shot his leg there. Yeah. He flat out decided no refunds. But finish at least one project, even if some clients will leave your future projects. The others will see your success and they will come in. Is that right? Yes, there is cash flow gap. It's alright. But when you start selling your own equipment, I even remember he sent a voice message to somebody, like he got a drilling rig. You remember that? We just got ourselves a drilling rig for $150,000. Here you can see it. So we will start drilling soon. If I am scammer, why should I continue construction? Why should I continue investing in the equipment? Well, maybe to attract new investors to your projects? No? Why not? Is this a good reason? Yeah, I think it is. You can check it out online, Google this machinery, and you can see yourself how much it costs, you know? The machine itself is like $90,000, but with shipping fees from China and other costs, it's 115 grand. And at the same time, he cannot return $10,000 to a woman for over a month. That's crazy. His words and his actions are completely out of sync. Yeah, so I called my friend right away. We all share a big chat where everyone sends updates. Someone posts a live stream. It's in this live stream, Sergey is yelling at his workers on the construction site, you know?
Kamu pertama, karena jika kamu nggak kontrol, mereka tahu dan mereka tidur. Mengerti?
And I immediately contact one of his ex-site managers. He's like, that video is 6 months old. And then I asked my friend Misha, who was there, shout out to him. Like, he went to the actual site on Nusa Penida. He opened each cabin door, he filmed everything. Nobody was there. Yeah, you can use that video. And on the video, he's like there was the drilling rig and he's pointing the finger. Like, it was there, but now it has been moved to a parking, you know?
So when was this filmed exactly?
Just recently.
So the drilling rig was apparently there, right at that ground. Apparently they already prepped the machine to ship it off somewhere. That's what I think. Like I said, as I understand it, he calculated the financial model wrong. He didn't even account for water. The water was delivered.
Right, that's what I wanted to say about communications. Because from the start, when you're building something, the engineering solutions are really complex. There's a seismic activity, there are rocks. Like that island, Nusa Penida, there are no communications there. So even those villas were really built, there is no water.
So you mean he scammed people technically, too? I wouldn't say he scammed them. He just, I think, went into an international premium class construction project without proper knowledge, without full understanding.
So he figured that out during the process.
Yeah, and as I understood, once the money started coming in, he made an announcement, people started sending him money, and he just started throwing it all over the place. Different projects. But the basics, like bringing water to the site, for example, because, like, imagine there were 250 people working there at the peak on those two phases. And all those people, they need to shower, they need to drink, to go to the toilet, you know? And the water is all delivered. It's all delivered there in trucks every day. And per week, we roughly estimated, per week it cost between $5,000 to $10,000 just for the water. Per week. Multiply that by 4, it's at least $20,000 a month just for water.
But that drilling rig...
Yeah, and what's the point? There's no water there. You'd have to drill more than 220 meters. I drilled it myself and I didn't find any water. That's it. Yeah, but now he has already sold that drilling rig. Why would I invest huge money in equipment if I'm a scammer? He has already sold that drilling rig. Everything's going according to plan. There are just small adjustments because the law changed and the land on Nusa Penida Island now has a 40% building coefficient instead of 60%. So now it is 60%. Yeah, so he's basically saying that the law changed, the ratios changed, and that's why he had to pause the construction. I was just finishing editing and then bam, a new video interview with him comes out. I watched the interview, the whole video, and there's one thing I really liked. Let's listen.
This is your quote. You told me this, I heard it myself. You said, if you weren't allowed to build in the green zone, why even indicate those 40%? It makes sense, right? That's your quote.
What I meant was, technically you can build there, you can, if you change the land status. If, you know, the government approves it, otherwise the whole land would just lose value, you know? That's why they give you that building ratio and say, okay, if you confirm that your project is proper, we'll reclassify it as a tourist zone, and you will have those 40%. And when I met the governor, he told me that he would even raise it to 60%. I just explained that otherwise the infrastructure wouldn't fit. But here's the tricky issue. He discussed that same land status issue with the governor back in 2024. And this video was recorded like now. So it turns out in 2024 he already knew everything. And yet, all the way until almost the end of summer 2025, he kept collecting money. I've already covered that in my investigation, let's keep watching. So I'm about to meet the governor, and you know what's funny? The governor's coming to me, not me to him. He's coming to me. That's so exciting, first time in my life. And we are now preparing the documents. I recently met the governor, he promised to return the 60% just for my projects. Yeah, and we saw this in his Instagram. Him meeting the governor, arriving in his Lamborghini, governor showing up and all. But what exactly they discussed, what was promised, that's off camera. But what we do know is what's on camera, and the only unclear point is the land status change on that document. Doesn't really look like a promise, especially considering that the issue was raised way back in 2024. He promised me to return the 60% personally for my project, so our construction stopped only because we needed to redo the documents, you know? So everything's fine. Everything's on track, you know why? Because we are the best. This is incredible real estate, unique. It will rent for high prices, always be in demand, and always bringing you amazing passive income. Book your villa right now.
Money loves silence. Does this apply to you?
No, because I live pretty loud and lavishly. I've got a Lamborghini, the only one on Bali, you know. It's not that I'm bragging about having money, but I don't hide it from anyone either. So this villa I marked here in green, this is Larisa's villa. The one next to it, you can buy it. Who wants to be Larisa Guzeeva's neighbor? We still have 4 villas in Santorini. Beautiful and gorgeous complex. So Larisa Guzeeva recently snapped at you guys in the comments, right? Called you vultures or something.
Yeah.
Why'd she do that? Because I only saw a screenshot, you know?
I saw that somebody commented, like, how could you not see that? You're defending a scammer. Yeah, they were texting her, like, how could you miss that he was a scammer? And she replied, like, something like, oh, just another bunch of vultures. Something like that.
Yeah, but you know, in her case, you'd never really guess. When someone's been building houses for years and suddenly he screws people over, you'd never expect that. You cannot tell.
The funny thing is that he has never really built in Russia. He's got lawsuits for almost 300 million rubles.
But okay, maybe she didn't look into it too deeply. Her manager convinced her. But once she found out,
her agent, Ivan, lots of people from our group contacted him personally, and he replied to everyone. And everybody was contacting him directly because there is no access to Larisa. And people messaged him like Terima Kasih is a scammer, be careful. Everyone tried to reach out.
And Ivan was defending him.
Yeah, and he kept defending him till the very end. So it's a question for Ivan then.
Oh, I've got some questions for him, yeah. So I've got the correspondence in my hands, and honestly it's a little detective story on its own. Sergey Domogatskiy, aka Terima Kasih, and Guzeeva's manager Ivan. So question for the millionaire, bro. Serega, you're driving $1 million car, a Lamborghini. Give some advice to newbie entrepreneurs. What should they do? How should they act? Yeah, making mistakes, that's normal, that's good. In school they taught us that mistakes are bad. You will get an F, parents will yell at you, whatever. That's all bullshit, you have to make mistakes. The more mistakes you make, the bigger your knowledge base is. Hell yeah, make mistakes and reach success. That's what Guzeeva's manager said. So Larisa Guzeeva is public, respected, wealthy person. You wouldn't think she would get into some shady deal, but her manager Ivan, when some victim confronted him like, why the hell did you drag Guzeeva into this, he replied politely, gentleman-like. That's what he replied to one of the victims. We've always believed in Mr. Terima Kasih's honesty, and I'm even ready to take a lie detector test. So technically, as an investigator, I could have ended the story right there. Like, okay, they messed up, Guzeeva and her manager. They were friends with Terima Kasih and they both lost their money. Well, the details are the most important thing. But I decided to dig deeper. And here, pay attention, something weird. On Ivan's Instagram, he's following about like 200 people. It's not a lot. Half of them are some shady coaches, and some of the folks are even involved in really shady pyramid schemes. And it gets better. Ivan frequently does interviews on social media with founders and co-founders of something called RC Group. What is RC Group? Let me explain real quick. It's a structure working on multi-level, multi-level, I cannot pronounce it. What's wrong with me? Come on, say that! It's a company working on multi-level marketing principles. Yes, I said that. Holy shit. Basically a referral program with bonuses. This is Yegor Pater.
Hi everyone.
Hi Yegor, he is RC Group's co-founder. Let's see how great this thing is and how much you can earn from it. Oh yeah, tell us please.
Well, we're basically like an IT company.
So you drop your referral link, people follow it, they get a bonus from purchase. It's like a reward for a...
Yeah, it's like a reward for a target action.
Yeah, you get a reward and the person who gave you the link also gets one. And now let's stop here and think about it. So Larisa Guzeeva's manager, Ivan, isn't just friends with Mr. Terima Kasih, but he's also a referral recruiter for RC Group. Why recruiter? Because in those interviews he always drops his own referral link underneath. And you might say, what's the big deal? Some RC Group? Who cares? But wait, we need to step aside here so you can see, the full picture. What that RC Group is about. As reported in Russian national news back in April 2024, a year ago, a criminal case had already been opened against them for fraud. Moscow police launched an investigation after complaints from defrauded RC Group clients. People from the Chelyabinsk region and Bashkortostan region are now filing police reports about RC Group. A woman from Dmitrov, Galina, says they took all her savings.
300,000 rubles.
A woman from Moscow, Tatiana, lost a huge sum and ended up with a giant loan.
I lost 1.5 million in the end.
And not just in Moscow, people all over the country are saying they've become victims of a massive scam by RC Group. What can I say? This company's activity should raise questions from the central bank, because basically the signs of a pyramid scheme are clearly there.
Hi Andrey, so here's the situation. In October 2023, I filed a report with the Ministry of Internal Affairs about fraud and theft of my family's money. In December 2023, there was a raid on RC Group's office in Magnitogorsk, organized by TV journalists.
Основатели RC Group, основатели предыдущих двух пирамидок. Мария Михайлова, Елена Миченко, Егор Павлов.
These three are the company's leaders.
On January 1st, 2024, the first attempt on my life happened. They threw a 70-centimeter firecracker, fire, danger to life and health. March 1st, the second attempt. Two unknown men with iron rods broke my window at 1:30 a.m. and sprayed pepper gas.
Hello there, what's going on? Weren't you told to stop your fucking activity and delete all the videos? We are watching you, by the way. Next time we'll fucking cut your head off. And we won't spray gas, we'll pour acid on you. So delete everything, you bitch.
Then came more threats, phone calls, telegram messages, both text and audio, saying that if I don't stop helping RC Group victims and stop posting videos, I will end up dead. They will cut my head off. That next time they will pour acid on my face. The third attack was in December 2024. Somebody hit me from behind in my stairwell, knocked me out. I woke up already in the ER, so neighbors had called an ambulance. I had posted videos about RC Group, 325 videos total, and helped victims file police reports. But the police said they didn't have enough evidence to open a criminal case. That's how it was.
Eventually, the investigative committee
opened a criminal case against RC Group members. These people tricked money out of young people and retirees. And the founder of that outfit, Maria Mikhailova, by the way, last year she ran for governor of St. Petersburg, which shocked everyone. And all the media was crazy about that. She proudly calls herself on Instagram a member of the expert council under the State Duma, chair of the Franchise Association and CEO of an IT company.
Maria Mikhailova, head of RC Group. Please remember the name, RC Group.
So while Larisa Guzeeva was matching couples on her TV show Let's Get Married, she herself got matched into the role of an ambassador in Sergey Domogatskiy's scheme. And not just by anyone, by her own assistant, her manager. The very person who is responsible for her public image is dealing with some shady schemes, left and right, here and there. So what do we get in the end? Celebrities and big media figures becoming involuntary participants in a whole financial game.
Congratulations, Larisa!
Thank you very much. Now I've got real estate here too. Come visit.
Except in this game, it's not just about money, it's about reputation and trust. And in the end, it all comes down to the lives of ordinary people.
No, I'm not the fraudster here, you're the idiot. Seriously, if I were a fraudster, would I even be talking to anyone, reaching out to anyone? And if somebody is spreading some kind of a smear campaign against this person, then Larisa Guzeeva's lawyers have every right to file a defamation lawsuit, and I'll join them.
So there was no money, all purchases were going through me. I used to approve them and send them back, but we couldn't buy anything. Everything stops, deadlines freeze, we cannot keep up. And then during the audit, it turns out that the cash gap in Bali was $2.5 million, and later it became $5 million. And we perfectly understood that there was only a few months left before the investor's deadline. There's only one villa in each phase, and that there's a cash gap, and that we're running from one construction site to the other just to fake activity for Instagram, you know? And I perfectly understood how this would end. It's a bubble. There were even times when some of my friends or acquaintances came to Bali.
Yeah, some serious people.
And we talked them out of it.
Yeah, they wanted to buy a villa there and we talked them out of it.
I was just cringing. I felt shame for this whole story.
But look, if the villa isn't finished, it means there's money somewhere. Where is it? Well, then an audit should be done. I mean, there's a legal framework for that, right? And again, to resolve it legally, me, as a Russian citizen, right? Figuratively speaking, for the Indonesians, I'm some kind of a mythical figure. No, hold on, bro. Did he take your money to buy land and build villas? No, wait. There is nothing like that in the contract. Yeah, I looked at the contract. There's absolutely nothing in it. What do you mean nothing? Well, show me the contract, because that's not even a purchase agreement. Well, it's not a purchase agreement, it's a construction contract, Frol, look, I want you to review 10 weird things about Terima Kasih based on the contract I found. Yeah, let's go. So, the name is already fancy. Agreement of Intent for Investment Cooperation. So basically, it's not a purchase agreement. So is it like some kind of preliminary agreement, right? I don't even know, it's not even sublease, not even ownership. It's like some diplomatic paper that basically says, you trust me, then sign here, let's do everything based on trust. The LLC is registered in Bali under the name of a certain Sujan, because you cannot buy property there. It has to be a Balinese local who provides it for lease. Let's clarify it here. There is no such thing as escrow account there, right? Yeah, no escrow. The land is on lease. So you basically bring the money, give it away, and they promise to sign a sublease agreement someday. It doesn't even say when. So basically you're buying the lease. Yeah, but you are legally an investor. So if your contract, whatever kind it is, doesn't specify a completion deadline, then he can build for an infinite amount of time. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think that's just how he covered himself. There isn't much to say about that, really. Why? There is. Finiko, Gafarov and partners, all those guys, scammers, wrote in their contracts, we have the right to lose your money on bets, on stocks, whatever. But when you spend that money, not on that game, but on personal stuff, a Lamborghini, a 50 million ruble watch, whatever, that's fraud, even if you wrote it in the contract. Oh, and does he spend it? There's evidence? Well, yeah, fine, but why doesn't he give the money back? He could have said, guys, here's your foundation, here's what's left of the money. He didn't return money to anyone, except a few people. And Andrey, because he was afraid Andrey would make a video exposing him, now he's telling Andrey to wait 3 more months, and everyone else too. And folks are already asking for the money back. Absolutely, everyone. Total chaos there.
And in 2024, when we found out that the Russian company already had a almost $6 million cash gap, that was verified, not hidden information. Yeah, and I was involved with the Russian company as well.
In total, I lost 125 grand. Dollars. Was it a loan? Yeah, a family mortgage. The first time I saw Sergey Domogatskiy was in 2019. He used to speak at some entrepreneurship events, networking meetups, talking about how he built his business in Russia. He showed his houses, they were really nice, impressive. Back then, 6 years ago, I got inspired. I thought it would be cool to build a house in a pine forest, you know? In 2021, my son was born. Last year, I applied for the family housing program, found a plot with pine trees, beautiful, just like I dreamt. And when it came time to pick a contractor, I didn't even really choose. I had been following Sergey for 6 years, and they were supposed to start construction, I think, last fall. But then they contacted me and said, it's better not to build in winter, let's start in 2025. I was like, okay, since there's time, I asked if we could increase ceiling height, you know, or change something. They said, sure, no problems. So construction was supposed to start in June last month, but a month and a half ago I tried to call them for the first time to find out if everything was okay.
Wait, and the money was already transferred, right?
Yeah, kinda. So the bank gives 150 grand. The land was like 100 grand. The house 120 grand. So total 220 grand. So 75 grand was mine and 150 grand from the bank. And the bank transfers the contractor money in tranches, you know. And my lawyer explained to me that the system was flawed. Bank just sends the money kind of blindly, you know, not like the house is finished and then they pay. Apparently there's some loophole where the contractor shows the foundation is done and the bank sends the rest.
Oh, so it's supposed to be by construction stage, foundation, then the bank transfers the money. That's the reason the foundation was done so fast.
Yeah, in the same month. Really fast. I know nothing about construction at all, but neighbors told me, what's up with your piles? Your house is like 8 by 8 square meters, but those piles are massive. Why so big? And it turned out that they had charged an extra 5 grand for the foundation, saying it had to be that way, stronger. Well, let a builder decide, okay? I don't know.
But you paid that 5 grand, right?
Yeah, I did. Correct.
Okay, and everything stopped at the foundation stage.
Yep.
So when was it supposed to start?
In June, last month.
Okay, and so it didn't start. And you did what?
Yeah, I started messaging them in May, asking how to prepare the plot for construction, you know, like maybe to bring water or whatever. And they didn't answer. At all. I called, no answer. Came by, the office was closed. Nothing. No one. Even the manager who sold me the project, who I talked to, no one got in touch.
And at that time he was actively posting on Instagram about projects in Indonesia.
Yeah, he was posting everything. Did you send a DM? I did, I texted him. He sent me a voice message. Like, hello, unfortunately there are some problems in Russia, so I will build it later. With my own money. And I was like, what does that mean? And he goes, well, I have real estate in Russia worth several $1 million. I'll sell it and build a new one. In May, I started Googling and found so much negativity. I went into some Telegram channels, 70 members, all discussing how they got scammed in Moscow and then in Bali. Then I got added to a WhatsApp group, another 50 members, same story. Some of them had been waiting for 3 years for their half-timbered houses. And nothing.
So there were tons of violations, you know? He should have structural joints. Each beam should support another. The structure should hold from every direction, left, right, up, down, you know? But his structures have no joints at all.
So that's a major flaw. Yeah, it's pretty fucking serious. Some beams were literally hanging in the air and he bolts them to the beam holding the second floor. Second, he simplified the window frames. Just set the glass between beams, which caused tons of issues. Several panes literally fell out. Yeah, I did hear about that he messed up the glasswork on the villas. Guys from his construction crew told me that.
So my life rule is if there is a craftsman, don't stick your nose in. There are engineers who bear responsibility. They calculate the loads. It's a serious work. It's a seismic zone. And when, say, we made a technically sound calculated decision, he would just shut it down, saying, "No, that's bullshit. We will do it my way." And I was like, "Sergey, are you sure about this? How can you? These things are literally life-threatening. You cannot interfere with an engineer's work. For example, we had this issue with junction for large glass. It was like, a volcanic rock feeding to mount the glass. And I told him about that problem and said, I'm not signing off on this because it's simply dangerous and can be lethal.
Reflection Deep Sky Villa Complex, Kintamani, located in Bali, in the Valley of Volcanoes. Kintamani, 6-meter glass panels with a panoramic view of the volcanic valley, but also a 6-meter transparent roof.
There is no way glass weighing 400 kilos.
Wait, 400?
What?
You mean a 6 by 3 meter glass pane?
No, not 6 by 3. The partition between the bathroom and...
Oh, then yeah.
Almost 900 pounds. That glass cannot rest on a lightweight, porous material, It needs a serious frame. What if a kid's there? What if it collapses? What if it cuts someone? It's unsafe glass, so there were a lot of such issues.
And now they are built like that.
Yeah, those units are like that now. So these issues were horrifying because, for instance, even my engineers and architects from my team, they refused to design the next phase or lay the foundation because we didn't conduct any geological researches. There could be voids underground, and with the seismic tremor, the villas could literally slide into the ocean. So for me, that was totally unacceptable. All of that came together like a puzzle, and we left.
Yeah, we did.
Hey Andrey, hey everyone watching the channel, this is Daniel here again, special correspondent in Bali. Right now we're in the northernmost part of the island. It's known for its cool weather and for the unfinished Reflection Deep Sky project by Mr. TerimaKasih, which was officially suspended on May 18th, 2025. Although he keeps claiming on social media that construction is still going on.
So here's what I can offer. I've got a fully finished villa in Kintamani. Kintamani, 6-meter glass panels. There is one unsold villa left. And I could give it to you for a small extra fee, However, we have different information. We're gonna send up the drone and see what's really going on with the project, what stage it's in, and whether that sign is actually there, the one saying that the Bali Regency government suspended construction for violating local zoning and environmental laws. Alright, Andrew, subscribers, here we go. I'm about to do something that could get me in trouble, but hey, anything for the sake of justice. There it is, that sign. I won't go closer because I know there's security here. But the sign reads that Bali government has temporarily halted construction, not shut it down completely, pending investigation and court decision. As of now, the developer, Mr. TerimaKasih, technically still has a chance to fix his paperwork and resume construction. But it's unlikely that he'll manage that, because in fact this land is part of the forest reserve, which means permanent construction is strictly prohibited. And Sergey didn't have the permits or the proper documentation and still doesn't. So how did this guy even manage to sell properties here without sorting that out first? And the most important part, all buildings on this site are subject to demolition if Sergey doesn't provide the authorities with a plan to restore the environmental balance here by the end of 2025. And we don't think he will do that, frankly. Anyway, the site has been sealed off since May 18th, 2025. Nothing's happening here. We also flew the drone over, not a single worker, everything's frozen. So please don't buy into any of Mr. TerimaKasih's projects. Don't put your money in, you'll just lose it. Reporting from Bali, Daniel Demidov, special correspondent. Thank you.
Remember the Kintamani project I told you about? Deep Sky. Almost finished. There are already finished villas there and tourists are living in them. Tourists are living in them? Did I hear that right? Pause the video and look at this video again. Sure, maybe those tourists just went out for groceries at that moment, but tell me in the comments, do you believe it or not? I'm curious. Like, look at this. Or actually, no, don't say or write anything, or you'll end up on Terima Kasih's nemesis list. And you know, I'm also working on this Operation Nemesis, named after the Greek goddess of vengeance. I will even hire people specifically for this, to go after everyone who ever slandered me online. We will take care of each and every one of them. Straight facts here. I've already wiped out 2 of them, erased them from the face of the earth, you know? Wiped out. Meanwhile, different agencies were reaching out to me asking to delete my posts and offering money. The offers went as high as like $30,000. But I told everyone the same thing. Guys, don't piss me off. I'm not for sale. No way. You won't buy my consent, you know? They were even planning to hang a drone outside my window, you know, to hack my Wi-Fi and get access. How did you know that? From 2 independent sources, you know? Guys from his own company told me they discussed it openly at one of their meetings. I see, so he was basically looking for ways, legal or not, to silence you. Yeah, but he found another way and sold me out to Navalny. Back then we had beef with Navalny. He used to write about me... Wait, are you serious? Yeah, he used to accuse me of being a Kremlin supporter, and I asked him questions. So, Terima Kasih dug up some files he could leak to Navalny. He actually reached out to him. And then he threatened me. I've got screenshots. What kind of information was that? Okay, so people had been sending me stuff about Navalny for a while, to my email. So when Sergey hacked my mail, he found audio files where Navalny supposedly talks with intelligence agents. And I had that voice recording. Damn, our investigation is drifting into another kind of spy thriller now. Amusing, huh? Yeah, and that voice message got leaked to Navalny. Since it was real, Navalny liked it. They subscribed to each other on social media. He even bragged like, look, Navalny added me as a friend. And later he posted something like, see that blogger? Soon all the world's intelligence agencies will be hunting for him. Holy shit. He didn't mention my name, but I knew he meant me. He sent me that screenshot, and that's when I realized he was trying to get me sanctioned. Allegedly for sponsorship. But whose side were you on? Russia's, of course. Oh, then you'll be fine. Yeah, so he started digging on both sides, either to sell me out to one or to the other side. So in the end, I was told it after. They told him there was nothing, no information on the Russian authorities, nothing to leak. But they did find that voice message of Navalny in my mailbox, and that's what he used. And since Navalny added him as a friend, clearly there was some real communication. He wouldn't just add some random guy, right? And later, another source confirmed it. So yeah, it checked out. And you never thought of protecting yourself, like going to the authorities, saying like, I don't know, look, this shady developer and Navalny are trying to frame me. Here's the evidence. Like, please take a look at this. Like, they are trying to set me up. Did you do that? Yeah, so, actually, when my email got hacked, I did report it to law enforcement. And you told them everything. Yeah, but you know, they were like, who is this guy? Navalny? No, Sergey. So they were like, who is that guy? So they took my statement, but at that point I had already learned he was flagged by the authorities. Because of his construction history or political issues? No, his old cases. He even said in one interview that back in the day he used to, you know, rob stores. Yeah, I see. Look, I'm not judging anyone for what they did in their youth, because I've been to prison myself, and I know that a lot of famous people were in prison, or even Robert Downey Jr. was in prison. What matters is who you are now, because everyone's made mistakes. It's okay. I totally agree. Yeah, but look, if a guy has been hammering one thing for years, and then suddenly goes, I have changed, I'm honest now, you get it, don't you? Yeah, you got worried about his background.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when he said that he used to have friends among some criminals. That's when I realized it's all serious. And you know what, Sergey, if you're watching this, I've got a piece of advice. Next time you hire staff, don't treat them like dirt. Don't act like you are above everyone else. Did he do that? Of course, we'd sit at his villa till midnight. No overtime pay. Would be there designing whatever, like a shelf with built-in lighting. That was completely Alesia's idea. We were figuring out lighting, how to cover it, etc., etc. On Santorini project.
No, it was like that at all villas.
So you made all those aesthetic touches at his projects.
Yes, I was handling that. I was mixing polyurea coatings for small pools, that sort of thing.
Yeah, but the decisions on that were mine.
Yeah, it was Andrey.
I laid porcelain tile too. I was sitting in a cafe imagining the ocean floor and thought, man, it would look amazing in a pool. So I sent him a voice message like, let's make the pool look like the ocean floor. And he's like, cool idea. And later he just takes all the credit, like this is my pool, this is my glass ceiling, but we did that. I've designed a new, improved villa project. Rooftop pools, huge glass ceilings. The finance director, I won't say his name, but people who know, they know. He told me, Andrey, when we were just starting out, Sergey would meet with contractors, open the trunk of his, I don't know, Ferrari, and pull out stacks of 100,000 rupiah bills, and ask, will that be enough? And they're like, probably yeah. And he would hand it over, and that guy would disappear. He just gave away money like that. So his Ferrari trunk was literally stuffed with cash. He's a billionaire, after all. The craziest part is what happened to you. $10,000. He can't even give that back to you when he keeps bragging about being a billionaire just because, like, apparently you were too much trouble and he couldn't do it even for his own benefit. And on top of that, he knew you were pregnant.
Correct.
And still he was intimidating you. Okay, let's go step by step. When did you make a prepayment?
I made a prepayment in March.
This year.
Yeah,
For what? Which villa?
I paid for a villa in the new project on Balian Beach, near Canggu.
The one with the black sand. The one where there's basically nothing.
Yep,
And when was construction supposed to start?
he said it was already underway.
But in reality, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
Okay, so he lied here. Like $10,000 means nothing to him. Don't scare the girl. I think that's just low, man. A real man would just come out and say like, I don't know, listen, I get it, you're pregnant, let me pay it back in parts, I don't know, over 2 months. And that's it. So he texted her on March 19th. Hello, please contact my sales manager on WhatsApp. She goes, okay, I texted her, no answer. So March goes by, then April, then May, and she goes back to the conversation. Sergey, hello, I've lost trust, there are problems with the documents, there were inspections, and it turns out that the land you're building on, you cannot actually build there, there are a lot of violations. So she found that out. Yeah, the local authorities even put up a notice.
Honestly, I didn't even want to pay that 10K at first. I wanted to check all the paperwork. But since it was a new project, the documents were taking too long. So I took the risk and paid first. And then I did the checks over the next 2 months. And in the end, it turned out to be some kind of scam project. Because construction wasn't even allowed there. She goes, you cannot build houses there because of environmental restrictions near the shore and river zones. So I'd like to get my money back. To be exact, $10,000. Agata stopped replying when I asked where and when I can pick up the money. Agata is his manager. Yes, and here she says that they told her before that if something didn't work out, she'd get her money back. I don't think it's a huge money to argue about. Where and how can I get my money? He replies the next day. Hello, Sergey here. Strange that Agata didn't reply. Maybe it was her day off. I'll check. And this is the exact moment before everything blew up. That's where the conflict starts.
Look, in any dispute, you've got to try talking first. Any court will tell you that, right? Like sit down, talk it out. Is it correct? First talk. But I see people who are totally out of touch with reality.
That's what I think. So they think like,
Okay, let's all send our details. We'll sign a statement. He'll get arrested and extradited to Russia, and then we'll go after him.
But who's gonna go after him? For what reason? Wait, when people sent him the money, he told them clearly they could take it back anytime. Construction stopped, they asked for refunds, and he promised to return it, but then started bullshitting and never paid anyone back. Of course they got angry. Bro, are you serious right now?
Of course I am.
Just look, imagine you bought an apartment, right? And then you told the guy, you know what, I changed my mind, give me my money back. Or the guys who did renovation, right?
And you would go, you know what, I changed my mind, give me my money back.
You think it works like that? Nah, brother, that's different. You're missing the point. Those victims didn't get anything. But wait, did you? Wait. No, you wait. You are using the wrong example. It's more like this. What if I transferred money to buy an apartment, but the seller never actually transferred ownership to me?
Yeah, but you did get ownership, right?
I did, but did you? Wait. You wait, answer my question. Did you get ownership? You didn't. But I got my apartment eventually. Wait. I see what you're talking about, but you're not considering the legal side of things. I am. Look, brother, the money those people gave him for the villas, he was supposed to use to buy the land and then to build the villas. Where is that money? At least part of that money. Okay, say the land is bought, but where's the rest of the money? Those villas don't exist. He couldn't even return fucking $10,000 to a pregnant woman. Wait, but to give it back, he'd have to sell a villa. But there is no villa, it's just a foundation.
No problems with the refund. We will pass it to the finance department, and they'll put you in the payout queue.
What kind of queue is that supposed to be?
What bank details should I send it to?
First he says she's in the queue, then asks for details, just to comfort her. Then he goes,
About building restrictions, it's not true, totally wrong. Ask your inspectors. What coastal zone are you talking about? The whole shoreline is built up. There's a French resort nearby that's been there for 30 years. Trump is building nearby too.
Which is stupid. That's like parking in a no-parking zone and saying, well, look, 2 other cars are here. So the woman's already made up her mind. She wants her money back. But he keeps trying to convince her to stay in. Like, you are still in the refund queue. On May 15th, she replies, it's not that you cannot build at all. There are just restrictions. The plot is in tourist zone W. Villas are allowed, but with strict rules. Max 40% coverage. Ceilings height limit 15 meters, setbacks, greenery, parking, sanitation, everything. She's just spitting facts. Lots of facts here, so she's basically saying that he's violating the zoning rules.
Totally wrong. It's 5 minutes from the ocean, not a coastal zone. But you are right, though. If there are small risks, I wouldn't invest either. We'll check with the finance director how best to transfer your deposit.
Those 10,000 Benjamins. Then May 28th. Good afternoon, Sergey. It's been 2 weeks. When will the money arrive? And he replies the next day.
Hello, everything's fine, sorry, been super busy. Some accounts got frozen, finance department's overloaded, thousands of payments, but everything's under control, don't worry about this. We're just really overloaded with payouts.
So he says, like, we have more than 1,000 payouts. Maybe it's not just refunds, but other bills. But anyway, he claims he's got 1,000 transactions pending, and some of his accounts are blocked. She replies, Sergey, please resolve this today. He replies 2 days later, May 31st.
Hello, yes, I already passed your information to finance department. We have over 1,000 requests, and one of my accounts got frozen.
So yeah, some of his accounts were frozen, he got over 1,000 payouts. You are in the payout queue, please wait. Over 1,000 payouts. The guy has 1 million subscribers on his Instagram. Politicians, celebrities. And he spends a month messaging a pregnant woman about 10,000K while wearing a 50 million ruble watch and driving a Lamborghini. Like, what? It's just crazy. She goes, Sergey, I don't need to hear about your blocked accounts and taxes, whatever. It's been 3 weeks, no money. If it's not here by Monday, I'll take action. This was May 31st. Then, over a week later, June 8th, she goes, hello, if I don't receive the money by tomorrow morning, I will file a complaint against you, Agata, and others for fraud.
And I also sue you in court and contact Bali authorities with my lawyers. Additionally, I will expose this publicly with the help of my friends, bloggers, Instagram, whatever. Do you consider this a threat? No, not at all. Yeah, that's just her saying what she's gonna do, what measures she's gonna take. But Mr. Terima Kasih takes it as a personal threat and replies 2 days later. We've already told you 100 times that you are in the payout queue. You are acting like a child, scaring people, threatening. One more message like this and I'll simply block you. Thanks for understanding. Badumts.
Yeah, and he told me that if I keep messaging him, he would block me. Because I'm acting like a child.
Yeah, I saw that message. And you even replied softly, like you are the child here. You cannot even return $10,000.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. The guy keeps saying every day that he's a billionaire, super rich. Like, he got Lamborghini, Ferrari, whatever, and he cannot pay 10,000K back for 2 months.
She goes, go ahead, block me. The only child here is you. You cannot return such a tiny amount of money. It's laughable that a millionaire doesn't have that kind of money. I don't care about your blocked accounts. I've already filed a police report. Your time is up. Don't embarrass yourself, just send the money. I don't think this is the amount of money worth risking your reputation. For me, it's like monthly lunch money for my kids. So she's not even attacking him. Yeah, just once it's settled. I'm done waiting. Tell your story somewhere else. Of course, she's pissed that he called her a child and threatened to block her.
And then I started digging and I realized there were other victims too. And I'm like, okay, fine, keep that 10 grand, but I'll tell everyone what happened. Because clearly, it's not an accident anymore. It's a scam.
And he ignores her. She sent him screenshots of messages that she had sent to bloggers, deputies, public figures, and goes, that's just part of the list. I'll comment under every one of your posts that you are a scammer. I'll tell every blogger who interviewed you. I will even reach out to Larisa Guzeeva's agents. That's what she messaged. So she's telling him all that. She's trying to pressure him, you know, like, really, dude, you're gonna risk all this over 10K? I will destroy your reputation. And then he finally snaps and replies, you were in the payout queue. I told you 4 times. We are overloaded. Your refund was scheduled for yesterday. Congratulations. But you missed it. Yes, see? Classic manipulation. What an interesting guy. He flips it, now he's the victim. Like, yeah, you acted wrong, so now you're punished. Yeah, it's not me, it's about you. And then he sends her a voice message. Wait, let's listen. I'm even thinking of posting this story on my Instagram. It's hilarious. We responded, we're in touch, you're in the queue, and you start spreading lies and threatens saying you'll beat someone up. That's a criminal offense. Anyway, I'll post this story and let people decide if you are sane or not. So, and then I asked her, where in that chat did you threaten anyone or say anything violent, like that you would beat someone up? And she explained that she didn't, but when she started messaging bloggers, their followers got mad and started sending him threats. And now he thinks it was her threatening him, but she just started the hate. Come on, give that $10,000 back to a pregnant woman. Come on, just make an exception. Maybe, like, you know, he's scared that if he gives it back to her, everyone else will start asking for their money too. But he could have just said, okay, in this one special case, hell, he could have even posted it on his Instagram stories. She's having doubts, I'm giving her the money back because she's pregnant, blah, blah, blah. After that, he sends her photos of herself. Her account is private, but somehow he found her pictures. Then he goes, do you mind if I use these photos? Although they are public, so technically I don't need your permission. Like, he asks a question and then immediately answers it himself. In this situation, I recommend hiring a really good lawyer. And then he sends her a screenshot of his chat with his manager, where they are literally digging up information on her. The manager says, I checked her number, nothing came up, but I found out the contract is under her husband's name, let's file a report against her. He's like, yeah, go ahead. And they actually file a report against a woman who's just asking for her money back. And so he sent that screenshot to her and goes, the problem isn't on my side anymore, it's on yours. You should have stayed reasonable. And then he adds, we already have notarized screenshots. And one of my clients sent me your messages. Allegedly, some of his clients saw her posts. Because of you, the client wants to terminate their contract. It's 120 grand, so we'll sue you for defamation.
Yeah, then he messaged me like, because of you, I lost an investor, blah blah blah. You owe me $200 or $220,000. I'm gonna file a lawsuit. You'll have a criminal case for defamation because you're calling me a scammer, blah blah blah. Well, yeah, and that's it. And after that, I sent him a screenshot where he himself told the victims that the construction was cancelled. The project was closed and he was selling off his assets. And I'm like, why are you lying to me if you've already admitted it publicly yesterday? A whole month of whining, talking about lawyers, writing fake reports. Just give back the fucking 10 grand. This isn't business anymore, it's emotional blackmail. And then he started threatening me. He started posting me on his Instagram. So what does he do? He takes her photo. Reminder here, she's a victim who lost her 10 grand. He posts her photos in his stories, and he's got a ton of followers. Victims, politicians, big names. And he goes, does anyone know this person's full name? Holy crap. Can you imagine that? Like, why? Then she DMs him. You could have just asked me, I would tell you myself. Then he posts another story. Wait, but she had a contract, right? Well, technically it was under her husband's name. Anyway, in the next story, he shares replies from his followers and hiding their names. And somebody goes, she's a well-known scammer. She rips people off. And another one, hey Sergey, I have sent you her link in DMs. So he reposted those two replies without a shred of proof and DMs her. Well, what a twist. As always, dirty people only see dirt in honest people. Come on, dude, where are your proofs? You just simply reposted replies from somebody. Dirty people only see dirt in honest ones. That's some next-level cynicism. Especially when you yourself published a client's photo without permission and encouraged public hate against her instead of just giving her money back. That's straight-up teenage bullying. And I said, I've got nothing to fear. Clearly, I hit a nerve. You know, I'm pregnant, you know, this is stressful for me. And you're still doing this. I'm not even a public person.
And what did you say when you reminded him that you were pregnant?
Nothing.
That's pure manipulation, accusing the victim, flipping the script. Honestly, I've got no words. And this is a perfect example of, like, whether he ever planned to give the money back. If even a polite request from a pregnant woman turns into him demanding she owes him 200 grand.
He just kept blocking and unblocking me, sending messages, then disappearing again. I don't know if he's read my messages.
And how did you send him that 10K?
I gave it in cash to his assistant.
So he was a guy who built a flashy showroom, like beautiful projects, showed all the social proof. Clearly, he can do stuff, yet he can't return $10,000. He's just stressing her out. Yeah, and it doesn't even stop there. He also texted her on WhatsApp. You are in the payment schedule. I told you 4 times we've got a lot of payments to process, but you behaved improperly. Then his manager goes,
I'm waiting for the update. I will add another case for 10 grand to the payment list. Send me the client's crypto wallet.
And he goes, don't send it yet. Put her at the end of the queue. She's spreading defamation and acting inappropriately. On Monday, we're filing 2 criminal reports against her. And then he texted back to the victim. In this exchange with his manager, he sent this screenshot to her. Like, look, your payment was supposed to go through yesterday. Oh lord. Like, we were ready to send it, but now you're at the end of the line. That's just fucking insane. It's called victim inversion, when the scammer acts like he's the one being wronged because the victim's angry, saying, your payment was due yesterday, congratulations, pure sarcasm from a guy holding someone else's money, deliberately delaying it to teach her a lesson. And that screenshot where he literally instructs his manager to put her at the end of the queue, it's not just unprofessional, it's an emotional power play, a demonstration of control. Classic scammer behavior. That's how all pyramid guys operate. Just wait, we've got issues with the government, it's all temporary, the website is down, we are billionaires, but we are like working 24/7 answering DMs. But the moment you say something bad about them, they put you at the end of the queue. It's such a classic move. But with this girl, the one he refused to pay back the 10K, he really messed up. Because she didn't stop, she went to bloggers, to the media. If he'd just paid her, that would have been the end of it. And who knows, maybe even you wouldn't have heard of this story. If those messages didn't exist, I would probably think, well, maybe he's not that bad, maybe just careless. I honestly thought he was okay. He's like building stuff, not just taking money and vanishing. Right? But this is rock bottom. And that trick, like you ruining my business reputation with your comments, he used that on a bunch of other victims too. For example, there's another victim, Anton. Anton, hello. A client messaged me this morning saying that she wants to terminate the contract and get her money back. I asked why, and she sent me your comment. This is actually the second time it happened. Last time I replied and explained the situation, but now this woman says, give me my money right now. You know, I sent this case to my lawyers, and they say it's a defamation. Sorry guys, I'm just butt-hurting. Bad comments on social media are defamation now. Tomorrow we will have the police certify your comment. No notary needed, like in Russia. And then we will sue you for damaging my business reputation. And you will pay me the money that I will lose from that client. I have to go to court and do this. So basically some client leaves and he tries to make another client pay for it. Look, it's my blood boils reading this. This is total bullshit, never seen anything like this. This whole conversation makes one thing crystal clear. This guy isn't a builder, he's not an entrepreneur, he's an info seller with a god complex. Seriously, there is no other way to describe it. In his mind, if you post something nice about him, you're good, and you will get your money faster. But if you tell the truth, then you're spreading negativity, you're a scammer, he'll put you in the back of the queue or even sue you for 200k. Because in his world, there's only one person who's right, it's himself. And everyone else who dares to argue can fuck off and go to the end of the queue. So did you go to the police?
Yes, well, we went there because we were filing a collective lawsuit. There are about 40 victims.
And where did you file it?
The Southeastern District. Some people filed individual suits, some as a group, like 20 people, and next week there'll be another group lawsuit, another 20 people. But as for now, nothing.
Well, I know they summoned you today.
Yes, I was summoned to the police for questioning, but they were asking these awkward questions like, you know, our victims are scattered all over different regions of the country, and they were asking like, where exactly did this person transfer the money? In our region or not? And I understand what they're getting at. And I'm like, I have no idea, I honestly don't know, there are lawyers, ask the lawyers, I can only speak for myself. Personally, I transferred the money in your district. And they're like, we'll see what we can do about this.
And I decided not to stop there and developed a new, improved project.
And yeah, by the way, he also got a plan B, just in case clients actually file a complaint against him, not the other way around, and want to get their money back. He's got a plan B. Let's listen.
And as for your threats, deportation, extradition, and whatever, you know, I actually have had Argentinian citizenship for 6 years already.
Argentinian citizenship for 6 years. And if people say that they will go to the police and if he's found guilty, there'll be extradition, he considers that a threat. Guys, this cannot be called a threat. This is just a verbal notification. Like, if you don't give back my money, I'll go to the police.
A threat is when you say, I'll smash your head. That's a threat. So Argentina won't deport me, you know.
And he said that not to just one person, to many people.
So, okay, you will open a civil or criminal case, and then what? What effect will that have? Like Larisa likes to say, what for? And all we can do is just trust him. We gave him the money and now we're waiting. There are no government guarantees or whatever.
Yeah, but there's the guarantee that he won't ruin his reputation he's been building for years, and you think, well, he's not an idiot, right? For many, that's the deciding factor. And even if it were like in Dubai, where they have escrow accounts, here there is not even a purchase agreement.
Well, yeah, if there were a purchase agreement, it wouldn't change much. You'd just end up in court anyway.
Let's explain what escrow accounts are to our viewers.
So yeah, when you buy a property, your money doesn't go straight to the developer, but to a bank account that the developer opened with the state. And the state monitors that account, it is tied to the developer, and the money stays there until construction is completed. And if something happens to the developer, the state appoints another contractor to finish the project or refunds the money. So the money doesn't disappear anywhere. Yeah, and here it's worth noting that Frol has been working with real estate in Dubai for a long time. I recommend him, we've been friends since school. And now TerimaKasih will say, these are my rivals, rivals are trying to crush me.
Do you think he really has a villa in Cape Town, or is this just made up? I think he really does have a villa in Cape Town because I contacted the agents who were selling that villa. I found that listing online. It hadn't been taken down yet. I asked to get in touch with the agent. I found out that he left for Cape Town earlier than everyone else, even before he scammed me. My acquaintances told me that he was looking for land there, like they had seen him there. And it all adds up. He was searching in March and he bought it in March. They told me he bought it for $1.6 million. And I found that listing and I called them and asked neutrally, like, who bought it? And they said, oh, some Russians bought it. Well, of course they wouldn't say any names, but it's obvious. It was him. But it's clear now that he did buy it. Because I saw photos of his friends, like his friends took photos near that villa and from inside it too.
You mean the Cape Town villa?
Yeah, does it really exist or he's just talking bullshit?
I know that furniture was shipped there, that's for sure, that's all I know. And he mentioned that villa once or twice, but cut himself off quickly, you know?
And you don't know where exactly it is?
We know it's in Cape Town, but not the exact location. I know the furniture was sent there because the guy who made the furniture is a close friend of mine, and we met and discussed that.
But why Cape Town? He loves Cape Town. He's in love with it. That's where his heart is. But I just don't get it. Like, why, how such a huge number of people continue to believe him? Why they are still defending Mr. Terima Kasih?
So here we go again, bro. If he doesn't finish the villa, isn't he obligated to give you your money back? Look, come on, Andrew, you are a smart guy.
No, look, I'm telling you. No, wait, I'm telling you. No, you wait.
Let me ask properly. If he doesn't finish the villa on time...
No, wait, but what if...
No, bro, come on, you're arguing with me.
No, I just simply want to explain.
Just answer my question.
Okay, ask your question again.
If he doesn't finish the villa on time, is he required to return the money, or according to the contract, he doesn't have to?
Well, according to the contract, I have to make an evaluation of what he's done, record what he's completed, and then...
Okay, but now, look, bro, but right now nothing is done. Deadlines are over. So is he obligated to give your money back?
What do you mean nothing is done? The construction started.
Oh, so you can already move in there, right?
But you haven't moved in there.
Well, look, yeah, no one has moved in, except him.
Look,
you still didn't answer my question. He had a clear deadline, right? If by that deadline he doesn't deliver your villa, do you have the right to take back the money, or can he legally keep it even unfinished?
No, if he didn't finish... Well, you read it yourself.
No, you tell me yourself, you've read it.
I'm telling you, if he didn't deliver on time, but he hasn't refused to fulfill the contract, you know, de jure, there's de facto, de jure, all those terms, you know? Then he must finish it, meet the contract's subjects, and after that I can impose the penalties provided by the contract, like late fees and all that.
Oh, so right now you're getting penalty fees. Well, you should have said that right away.
Yeah, but I was just gonna ask you first, if you had, say, hired some guys to do renovations for you and you told them, you didn't finish on time, give me all the money back, what would they tell you?
Look, my case was different. I paid for each construction stage. It goes on, if they don't finish something, I say thanks, goodbye, and hire other workers, but he's not doing anything now.
Yeah, but in theory, theoretically speaking, look, I'm just considering this option, you know? Those aggressive people there, they're in panic.
No, bro, if you look at this differently, you'll see that the only aggressive one here is him, just him.
Well, listen, bro, I don't know, honestly.
I'll tell you straight. I've seen no aggression from him personally, towards me at least. Sure thing, that's because you haven't asked for your money back yet. The moment you do, boom, you'll end up owing him. You know for what? If you said something somewhere in the chat or publicly, like he's a fraud or he's a bad guy, and then someone else in that chat asks him for refund, he will slap sanctions on you and threaten to sue you, saying that you owe him the client's money that he lost.
Listen, I don't give a fuck about that, because
Because you haven't asked for your money back yet.
No, because I'm acting legally. I can hire a lawyer who will handle the case. But I understand those people, they didn't even formalize like, you know, even their participation in all this story, in all this scheme, they didn't invest, you know, de facto. You get it? Like, you know, de facto, for Indonesian authorities, these people are ones who didn't invest a penny into the economy but still demand protection like they were scammed. Right? Am I right? So, like, de jure, they didn't invest, but de facto, they kinda did. But to make it de jure, you'd have to open a legal entity, transfer all rental contracts to it, you know, like some investment paperwork, right? Transfer it there, organize the documents, and again, apply to merge that land into one, because land isn't free. It's not free there. Try getting free land there. Bro, why do they even need that information? They gave him money, he promised them a villa, and there is no villa. Why do they need to know anything else? Well, that's just their problem, their lack of understanding of the situation. So he's doing everything right, that's what you're saying. No, I'm not saying he's doing it right. I'm telling you how it works in business, you know? I just get that you need this moment explained to you because you haven't been in construction that long, so you don't understand. Bro, 2024, when I warned you that you were investing in a scam, remember? Well, you remember that? And do you remember what you told me then? You said, in July 2025, I'll get my villa. Well, it's July 2025 now, so where's your villa? Well, it's not here yet, otherwise we'd already be chilling there, you know? Do you know at least one person who managed to get their money back? Yeah, I knew one guy. His name is Sergey. He is in our group. And Terima Kasih gave him back $100,000 out of $200,000, but only because they had some like mutual acquaintance, either from law enforcement or somewhere high up. And he got scared and returned half of it. I don't know anyone else.
So even he got only half of it.
Yep.
You go out and face people, don't call them idiots. Don't think they're fools, don't block them. So basically he owes you money too right now. Well, we left Bali. Compared to other people, well, he still owes me like $4,000, like a vacation pay.
Just $4,000, right?
Yeah, $4,000, and Alessa too. And you just told him like, that's it, thank you and goodbye? Here's the story, how it happened. We went on vacation. I was sitting at the airport before the flight. I checked my state portal and I see a debt of 2.5 million rubles. Someone filed a lawsuit against me and won 2.5 million. It was a default judgment. I came back and cancelled it. But while I was at the airport, I recorded a voice message to Sergey like, hey, my travel from Russia is blocked. Help me resolve this through Belarus. You have contacts who can help, right? So I reached out to him for help. And he goes, Andrey, you're making this up.
Yeah, like 3 days later, he replied.
What did he mean? You were ready to go through Belarus, right? Wait. So I sent him a screenshot, showed him the record that I had a debt. Yeah, I sent him the screenshot. Yeah, I sent him that screenshot. And he replies, Andrey, you're making this up, you're bullshitting me. Like, you scammed me. Yeah. Because I left Indonesia and didn't finish the project.
And in his Instagram, he's already posting job ads.
Like, yeah, looking for finishing masters. I used to talk to him like a friend. We would resolve everything by phone, quickly, directly. I could tell him, Sergey, this is bullshit, and that's how it's done. He'd ask, yeah, so how should I? And I'd help him. But when I flew back to Russia and reached out to him, said that I had problems, he reacted like, you scammed me, you are bullshitting, you're making it all up.
Yeah, so the thing is that his first reaction was like that we scammed him. I honestly got no idea how we scammed him, apparently just by spending our precious time there with him. That's why I say we were expendables. And I saw it with my own eyes how serious and good specialist could get fired just in one day. And I would say, Sergey, we've got a huge hole here. Who do we fill it with? We're losing specialists. And he'd go, we'll find new specialists, Indonesians, it's all fine, everything will be fine. It's all crap.
And as far as I know, and that's reliable information, the guys who left 2 or 3 months ago also weren't paid. They haven't been paid yet. Some for 2 months, some for 1 month, and they just left. So now, honestly, I'll tell you as a builder myself, if he decides to finish the projects now, he'll have to rebuild a whole new team first. Look at this guy here, de jure, de facto.
Euro, wait, how did you send him the money? Crypto or Swift transfer? Crypto.
Crypto? Well, then your money is fucked. I was working under a contract. But you sent crypto? That's fucked.
Well, I got written receipts from him for each transfer.
Oh, just a receipt?
Well, you know, I don't want to join the general hysteria about all this property simply because I understand, you know, objectively, that in 6 months it will all rot and crumble.
Bro, it will rot, and then he'll just shrug, say, well, the process is dragging on, nothing's been formalized, the governor said something but isn't doing anything. Yeah, it will rot like that, indeed.
Look, I cannot speak for the whole project, you know? Understand that it's better to be left with at least some piece of land and an unfinished villa than to be left with a dick in your mouth.
No, I get that, but I just think...
And then all the trial bullshit.
You know what he'll say, bro? I already know. First, he'll say those who go to the police will get nothing. Then he'll say the government is to blame. Then he'll start claiming someone's targeting him, competitors and all that.
Listen, I know firsthand how this works in Russia with defrauded investors.
Yeah, but the money should at least stay for the unfinished villa. He didn't hand that money to anyone, right? So let him at least pay it back with building materials or something.
No, that's all a matter of audit, you know?
Bro, audit is a word every pyramid scheme uses. Even S Group used to say, guys, we're doing an audit. Same crap. Then they'll tell you, you need to confirm your funds. He'll tell you that too. Like, confirm how you earned your money. For the sake of this so-called audit.
Yeah, but from the outside it looks like we just gave him money and
Someone went to Indonesia to build something for us. That's how it looks.
doesn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly how it is.
Right, and I want it to be different.
Yeah, everybody says that.
There are people who even took out mortgages, people with disabled kids and mortgages. They have no houses, nothing. He's not only scamming people with villas, he's scamming people with houses in Russia too. Since 2020, people have been waiting, and nothing's finished for anyone.
So it's really unfinished, like not some construction delay, misunderstanding.
No, he doesn't even finish. It's such a scam that he doesn't even show up. When there's mortgage, at least they put some piles in the ground. But where people paid from their own pocket for house kits, they just get fat promises and then blocked, ignored. We have a lot of victims like that. But with house kits, it's easier for him to cover it up, you know? Because he's got different LLCs, different sole proprietorships, and most are registered to other people. And so he easily goes like, I have nothing to do with it, I'm just the face of the company or a franchisee or whatever. And so it's harder for people to prove anything. But with the villas, it's a bit different. And when I looked into this, and I was one of the first to start digging into it, I realized this can't be left as it is, because there will be more victims, more scams, and it will keep going for years. Someone has to start doing something to stop it.